In 1860, the last known slave ship in North America arrived in Mobile. It was illegally carrying 110 Africans between the ages of 5 and 23 from Benin. In 1808, the United States outlawed importing slaves. Timothy Mayer, a Mobile businessman, did not care, and he made a bet that he could do this without getting caught. Captain of the Clotilda, William Foster brought back 110 African slaves. He hid them in the swamps for a few days, and in the meantime, he set the Clotilda on fire and sunk it in the Mobile River. For over 150 years, the descendants of these captives told these stories, despite the world never believing them. And in 2019, the Clotilda was found, giving them concrete evidence behind their generational stories. Slavery had ended 5 years after these slaves stepped foot in Mobile. Unable to go back to Africa, they purchased land from the Mayer family and established the community of Africatown in 1872. And very similar to John Benson and the town of Benson, which sits under Lake Martin, they were resilient and determined to create a self-sustaining community of their own. Built on African culture, Africatown actually reached 10,000 people in the 1960s. However, in the 1990s, a highway was built through their business district. The population sunk, homes needed repair, they needed streetlights and sidewalks, mostly due to the community being overlooked by the powers that be. Now, Africatown has around 2,000 people and over 100 descendants from the original captives. Because of repercussions, descendants feared telling their stories for a large period of time. Local powerful families cautioned them, but they remained committed into telling their stories. The highway that was built was the first strike against the community. Africatown is now surrounded by numerous industries. And even just a few decades ago, the local paper mill was raining down waste over the community. And it was discovered that it was hundreds and thousands of pounds of chloroform. In 2017, over 1,200 residents sued the International Paper Company due to the harmful chemicals that were released in their air and their water. They eventually settled in 2020. The Mayer family is still pretty prominent in the area, and even have their names plastered around Africatown. That includes Mayer Avenue, Timothy Avenue, and Mayer State Park. They also still own a good portion of land around Africatown, a lot of it being leased to companies that were caught poisoning the community. And overall, just being an environmental risk. The residents are trying to bring Africatown back to its prominence. They've launched a youth diving program, and they're on the path for a heritage house and a welcome center. And despite 2/3 of the Clotilda still being underwater, that's not their main focus. Their real hope is to become the self-sustaining town that they used to be, full of lodging, repaired houses, restaurants, grocery stores, and completely free of industrial pollution. The effects of what happened in 1860 still linger to this day. And it takes documentaries like Descendant by Margaret Brown on Netflix to give a voice to those who should have had their stories told so much longer ago and validated. And it should have been given a fair chance to thrive. We have to reckon with what's happened in Alabama. This is not an urban legend. It's Alabama history and it's our history.